So everyone has joined? Yes. Yes, guys.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll start off with the class. Okay. Okay, guys. So Bismita ma'am, she has already started with the classes, right? So today, I think this is the second class. I think this is the third class for CNS. Okay. So I'll be taking up the third and the fourth unit. Okay. I'll be taking up the third and fourth unit, that is I think network security part 1 and network security part 2, right? So today we'll be starting with network security, that is we'll start with authentication applications. Okay, so what do you understand by authentication? My first question. Yes, guys, what is authentication?
Verified and allowed with some special key.
Okay, okay. So when we are saying authenticated means what? That is if it is genuine or not, right? In layman language, if it is genuine or not. So when we say authentication means it is some say, you can say, some critical component. Okay, and this authentication word is used with many applications. Okay, and many applications, it may be large applications, it may be small applications. So for some large and for some small applications, like when we are talking in network security, this when authentication is chosen, we have to choose authentication in such a way, and in like we have to select the type, like what type of authentication and how to implement it safely. So when we use an authentication application, now I'm talking about an authentication application. Okay, so authentication application means we have to choose the application in such a way that we have to see how it is needed, then what type, and then how to implement it safely. So these are all some challenging tasks when we are talking in terms of cryptography and network security. Okay, so when we are talking about an authentication application, we are definitely talking about cryptography. Yes. So first, what do the term cryptography mean? Yes. What do you understand by cryptography?
Some hidden messages in images or videos.
Okay. That is, we are using cryptography in order to secure or in order to protect some data, right? And cryptography mainly is used when we want to secure and protect that data during communication process. Okay, and it is very helpful. Why? That is, cryptography is used to prevent some unauthorized person or say unauthorized group of users from accessing any confidential or private data. Yes, so that is cryptography. That is what happens is definitely we have one sending end and one is the receiving end, right? That is, we talk about the client and the server. Yes, so what happens when a message is sent over the network? It is transformed into some unrecognizable encrypted message. An encrypted message means what? Okay, what do you understand by encryption? Yes.
It is protected. It is protected by some passwords and all.
Okay, and
It's convert some coded language.
yes, that is, encryption is the process of conversion of, that is, you have some original information with you, and that is converted into some unrecognizable form. Why? Because you have to send that in the encrypted form so that it is not hacked or it is not misused by any group of other people, that is people who are not authenticated to use that information, right? So when a message is sent over the network, it is transformed into some unrecognizable encrypted message, and that is known as data encryption. And then on the receiving end, what happens? The received message, it is converted again into the original form, that is decryption. Yes, so we have two terms, that is encryption and decryption. That is simply when you say an encryption in network security, we are talking about some image or text. Okay, so encryption is the process of converting the original text into a cipher text, that is encryption. And decryption is nothing but it is reconverting the, that is vice versa, that is you are converting again the ciphertext into the original text. Yes, so and cryptography, we know now cryptography, it is used to secure and protect these types of data during the communication. Okay, so now we talk about authentication application, in the sense we use some authenticated applications in network security. And say we have a lot of, that is authenticated applications, means these applications are authenticated to perform security measures and tasks. Okay, so we have a lot of authenticated applications in CNS, in terms of CNS, and the most popular which we use is Kerberos. Okay, so today we will be talking about Kerberos. Okay, one sec. Kaushik, could you join? Kaushik, I just admitted you. Don't mute your mics, okay? I'll ask questions. Okay, guys. So, before going to know what is Kerberos, we have to know what is a network. Okay, so what is a network? When we define a network, what do you understand by a network? So network means what? Network is nothing. First, network, it is used to store, process or transmit some information that is sensitive and private, right? So networks are used to store information, then it is used to process that information, and finally it is used to transmit that information. And these networks, because we are using it to transmit some sensitive information, it must be able to provide some appropriate protection in order to prevent some undesirable events such as compromise of information or denial of service. That is because we are talking about networks, and definitely we use networks to transmit information from one end to the other end. So we must make sure that the networks are able to provide some appropriate protection in order to prevent some misuse of the information. Okay, then since we are talking about networks, so we talk about network security. So network security is nothing but it is a very wide term. Okay, it is a very wide term which is used in a lot of sense. That is, it can be used in terms of technologies, it can be used in terms of devices, it can also be used in terms of processes. So network security means what? Networks, they must be able to provide with some form of security, because because every time sensitive information is being passed, we should be able to keep in mind that it is not being misused by some other party. Okay, so then in simplest terms, it is a set of rules and configurations which is designed to protect the integrity, confidentiality and accessibility of the computer networks and data using both hardware and software technologies. Okay, so network security is nothing but in terms of CNS, when we are talking in terms of CNS, it is some set of rules and some configurations which is designed to protect the confidential information and also accessibility of some networks and that information using both software and hardware technologies. Okay, then here today we will talk about how to improve the security of the networks through the use of some authenticated applications, and authenticated applications we already know now what is it. So we will talk about some authenticated applications. We talk about two types, one is PKI and one is Kerberos, but for today we will discuss on Kerberos only. Okay, so then what do we understand by internet? Internet, we know. What is intranet? So intranet is also a form of a network, and it is made up of hundreds and thousands of smaller networks. Okay, so we have other networks also. We talk about local area networks, we talk about wide area networks as well, and these can also be connected to the outside world. Okay, so why we are talking about all this is that is once your system or your computer is hooked up to some other devices which is outside of your office files, you and your data, it becomes vulnerable. That is, people, some of the people, they try to steal your data, they try to use your accounts for some inappropriate purpose, or simply they try to damage your system. Why? Because they just want to. Okay, there are some people that is simply, they are known as hackers, which we say. So same, they can be used, they can be set for some internal networks, that is we are talking about intranets, and some semi-internal networks, that is known as extranets. So you talk about intranets, you talk about extranets. So these all are exposed to somewhat small or large degree due to their limited public exposure. That is, these are some types of networks. You already know these types of networks, but still you have to keep in mind what is intranet, what is internet, what is extranet, then LANs and WANs, again metropolitan area networks. So these are types of networks, large or small or whatever. Okay, then we talk about the effects of security compromise. That is the effects of security compromise, whether you are sending, that is you are transmitting sensitive transactions or say information, it is being modified when you are transmitting it, or transmissions, these are being fabricated. These could devastate an organizations. That is, when you try to compromise security, what happens is, like sensitive information, that is, since sensitive information can be they can be like say accessed by other parties, or whatever information that is you are trying to send, however you are trying to send it. So you must always keep in mind that if you try to compromise with the security system, then a lot of things may happen which can devastate an organization. Yes, then as long as the organizations, they rely upon the public networks to support the transactions without a widely adopted, open and interoperable security solution, any transaction is susceptible to security breaches. That is, they are saying that whatever organization it is, so the organizations, as long as they are dependent on these type of public networks to support their transactions, so if they don't adopt any kind of interoperable security solution, then as long as they are using these public networks, they always have to keep in mind that at any time their transaction is susceptible to security breaches. Okay, so they're talking about the effects of security compromise here. Okay, so whatever networks you use, large or small, or whatever organization it is, they should be able to use some form of network security. So that's why we are talking about Kerberos, which is an authenticated application, and this is one of the most popular authenticated applications in use in CNS. Okay, so what is Kerberos? So Kerberos is nothing but it is some authenticated protocol. Okay, that is it allows a client and a server to reliably to rely on each other. Okay, that is when you're talking about any authenticated application, we have a client, we have a server, and now we are talking about Kerberos. So Kerberos is an authentication protocol which allows the client and the server to rely upon each other. That is, first they will identify each other's identity before they can establish a network connection amongst them. Okay, so when before the client or the server they establish some network connection among themselves, they have to first verify their identity. So Kerberos is an application which allows this thing to happen. That is, it is an authenticated protocol which allows this client and the server to rely on each other. Okay, then it is a centralized trust figure, and that is it uses some distribution center. It is known as the key distribution center, that is KDC. Okay, then it uses applications of cryptographic algorithms to secure network-based communications. That is, Kerberos is made up of some applications of cryptographic algorithms, and cryptography we know. So there are some cryptographic algorithms which constitutes this Kerberos. Then it has a unique way to secure communication. That's why Kerberos is very widely and popularly used. Okay, then Kerberos is an authentication application or protocol that allows the clients and the servers to rely on each other. That is how it relies on each other, but first it will verify each other's identity before establishing a network connection. Okay, then Kerberos, it was developed first at MIT, that is Massachusetts Institute of Technology, in late 1980s. And Kerberos, it takes its name from a three-headed dog. That is, in Greek mythology, we talk about some like mythological characters. There is a three-headed dog there, and it guards the entrance of Hades. Okay, these are some Greek mythology. Yeah, Harry Potter. So this is the three-headed dog. So this is three-headed dog. So Kerberos, it got its name from this three-headed dog in Greek mythology. Okay, then it is spelled as Cerberus. Okay, Cerberus, we take it as Kerberos. Okay, so in Greek mythology we often refer this to as the Hound of Hades. That is, it is a multi-headed dog that guards the gates of the underworld to prevent the dead from living. So these are some Greek mythology. You can check this interesting concepts in Google. Okay, just Google it. You can see it here. I just took a part of it from there. So this is a three-headed dog which guards the gates of the underworld to prevent the dead from leaving. This is some Greek mythology, and it got its name from here. So now in modern times, when we talk about Kerberos, today's Kerberos, it brings a measure of security to a distributed computer environment. That is, like in Greek mythology, those three-headed dogs, it used to guard the dead from the living, the gates of Hades, right? So now here at present, Kerberos also it does its job like those three dogs only, but here we talk about security measures in a distributed computer environment. That is, we talk about some technical terms now. Okay, where one computer can access resources of some other computers on a network. Yes, that is, we are talking about the sending end and the receiving end. Okay, so then like the Kerberos the dog, the Kerberos the protocol has three heads. That is, it has two principals and one trusted third party. Okay, so we have three important measures here. That is, Kerberos, it has two principals and one trusted third party. Okay, so Then a distributed security. Now we talk about a distributed security system. So what does a distributed security system provide? It provides a wide range of security services for distributed environments. Definitely, security system means it is distributed. Yes, and when we talk about distributed security systems, it provides a large range of security services. And we definitely need these security services in order to transfer information with full security from one part to the other. Then those services, it includes authentication and message protection. Okay, so services we provide, whatever data or information it includes, it is of authentication and message protection, and it provides the ability to securely carry authorization information which is needed by applications, operating systems, and networks. So whatever you say, you try to Google, you try to mail someone, you try to send in WhatsApp, you try to do this, you try to that, whatever you are doing, it definitely we are transferring some sensitive information from one part to the other. Okay, so these services which is provided by a distributed security system are authentication and message protection, and it provides the ability to securely carry this authenticated information which is needed by these form of systems. Okay, then we talk about Kerberos, what it provides. So Kerberos provides a wide range of security technologies and mechanisms. And why we use Kerberos? Because it is flexibly, it allows a mixture of security networks, security technologies and mechanisms to be used. You can say you can use it narrowly, you can use it broadly, however it is required, while providing economies of a scale of a common reusable technology, neutral Kerberos security infrastructure. You don't have to remember all these things. Just remember Kerberos, it provides a wide range of security technologies and mechanisms which is used for transferring sensitive information from one part to the other. Okay, then why we use Kerberos is nothing, that is we use sending usernames and passwords openly. It jeopardizes, that is it brings into risks the security of the network, and each time you send a password in the open, there is a chance for interception. So they are saying that Kerberos is a very, like, it is true to its form, that is it is a very useful authenticated applications to perform the security measures and tasks. So that is why Kerberos is popularly used. Okay, then Kerberos, it provides strong security on physically insecure network, it seems. Then it is a centralized authentication server which authenticates users to servers and also servers to users. Okay, we'll get this, all these things I'll again explain it using some slide. Okay, animations I'll show you afterwards now, then you can see it. So now you see the animation, that is how a Kerberos authentication process actually works. Okay, so when we talk about a basic Kerberos authentication process, it proceeds in the following way. That is, I already spoke, that is in a communication system, that is, or a network system, whatever you say, we need a client and we need a server, right? So what happens, a client, it tries to send a request to the server. Yes, a client tries to send a request to the server, or you can also say authentication server. Okay, it is already authenticated and it requests some credentials for that particular server. Okay, then what happens, now the client has asked some credentials to the authenticated server. So what happens, the server, it responds. Okay, it responds with these credentials which is encrypted in the client's key. Some key we will be talking about next. So it responds to the credentials of the client using the client's key. Okay, and what happens, the credentials which we are talking about, these credentials, it consists of two things. Okay, so one is a ticket server, okay, or a ticket which is used for the server, and one is a temporary encryption key. Okay, a temporary encryption key. It is not permanent, it is only used for this communication process, so it is a temporary encryption key, also known as the session key. Okay, so now what happens, the client, it transmits the ticket. Okay, it transmits the ticket which is contains the client's identity and a copy of the session key. Okay, it transmits it to the server. Okay, and we already spoke that this key, this ticket admin, it consists of the client's identity and the copy of the session key. Okay, I'm trying to use this animation so that you try to remember the basic process of how a Kerberos works. Okay, I'll give you this slide, so just go through the slides, this animation process. I'm making it easy so that you can remember it. Okay, then after this, we are talking about the session key, right? So now this session key, this is being shared by both the client and the server. Okay, and what it is does, this session key, it will authenticate both the client and the server. Okay, and this is also used to encrypt some further communication which takes place in between these two parties, or to exchange some separate sub session key which is used to encrypt further communication. Okay, so this is a simple presentation on how a Kerberos works. So implementation, it consists of one or more authentication servers which is running on some physically secured hosts. Okay, then authentication server, it maintains a database of principals. That is, we have users, we have servers, and then this authentication servers, they try to maintain their secret keys as well. Okay, then the Kerberos protocol, it consists of several exchanges. Okay, it consists of several exchanges. That is, what happens, a client, it can ask a Kerberos server, that is, we are talking about a Kerberos server, or you can simply say an authenticated server. Okay, it asks for the server, that is, it asks for some credentials. It uses two approaches. Okay, it uses two approaches. So in the first approach, what happens, the client, it clearly sends a text, that is, it clearly sends a clear text request for a ticket for the desired server to the authenticated server. Okay, and what happens here, the reply is sent encrypted. Yes, it is sent in some encrypted form to the in the client's secret key. What happens is, usually this request is for a ticket granting ticket. That is, the letter, that is, later it can be used with the ticket granting server. Okay, so we have two forms, one is ticket granting ticket and ticket granting server. Okay, then the second approach is, in the second method, the client sends a request to the ticket granting server. That is, it sends the ticket granting ticket to the ticket granting server in the same manner as if it were contacting any other application server that requires Kerberos credentials. So these are a bit complicated. I'll explain again, so just remember. Okay, and this reply is encrypted in the session key from the ticket granting ticket. Then once these all the things are obtained, the credentials, this may be used to verify the identity of the principals in the transaction. The identity of the principals in the transaction means the user and the receiver. Okay, that is sender and the receiver, to ensure integrity of messages which is exchanged in between them, or to preserve privacy of the messages. Okay, so you can send credentials to each other, but you have to verify the identity of both the sender and the receiver. Why? In order to ensure that whatever messages are being exchanged in between them, they are able to preserve the privacy of the messages. Okay, then To verify identities of both sender and the receiver in transaction, the client it transmits the ticket to the authenticated server. Okay, and since ticket is sent in open and it might be vulnerable and it may be reused by an attacker or a hacker, so additional information is sent to prove that the message was actually originated by the sender to whom the ticket was issued. That is, the sender is sending the ticket to the receiver, and it also adds some extra information in order to prove that the message has actually been sent by the sender, that is the original sender to the receiver. Okay, then this information is encrypted in the session key and it includes a timestamp. Okay, don't go through all the session key and timestamp for now. We are just focusing on the authenticated application, that is Kerberos. Okay, so since no one except the requesting principal and server knows the session key, this guarantees the identity of the client. Okay, so these are some technical terms, that is we use a ticket, we use the terms ticket, then ticket granting server, then session key, then identification, then authentication. So many terms we came into use. So today I'm just giving you the concept, I'm just giving you introduction because this is the first class. So from next class I'll explain everything in details. Okay, so this is just I explained the formal process of how a simple Kerberos authentication application works. Okay, then now coming to advantages of using Kerberos. Okay, so first advantages is passwords are never sent across the network unencrypted. Okay, so when you use a Kerberos, Kerberos it makes sure that whatever passwords are being exchanged in between sender and the receiver and sent across the network, so it is always sent in an encrypted form. Okay, then clients and applications services are mutually authenticated. Mutually authenticated means whatever network security is being used, whoever is the client, whoever is the server, they first Kerberos they allow the sender and the receiver, that is the client and the server, to first verify each other's identity and then only establish a connection in between them, and then after establishing the connection they are allowed to exchange information in between them through the help of this connection, that is the network connection. So clients and application services are mutually authenticated. After authentication only they are able to use these services, and tickets have a limited lifetime, it seems. So authentication through authenticated server only has to happen once. Okay, so these things they happen only once and tickets have a limited lifetime. Okay, then sharing secret keys is more efficient than public keys. Definitely, if you share secret keys, that will be only in between the sender and the receiver using some authenticated application. I'm not saying it is not vulnerable to other networks, but yes, if you use this Kerberos, so these are the advantages of using Kerberos. Okay, then we have disadvantages of using. So we also have disadvantages. You have pros, you have cons. So Kerberos only provides authentication for clients and services. That is, they are vulnerable to users making poor password choices. So what they are saying is you can establish connection in between the client and the server. You can pass on sensitive information, that is say passwords and all, but it is vulnerable to those users who make use of poor password choices. That is, your password capacity, that is the strength of your password, it should be very strong. Okay, then client machine and the server machine to be designed with Kerberos authentication in mind. That is, what they are trying to say is whatever authenticated application you use, every authenticated application has pros and cons, right? So Kerberos also has these disadvantages, that is, if you the user somehow it is creating a weak password, then it is vulnerable to that is their secure, that is their network is not say that much secure. It is vulnerable to attacks from the outside world. Okay, so we have advantages, we have disadvantage also, so you have to make the choice, you have to use it accordingly. Okay, then we have conclusion is this Kerberos, this authenticated application named Kerberos, it was it has been researched and developed for over 8 years, it seems. Okay, and it seems Kerberos doesn't fail to deliver services. Then say for example Cisco, then Microsoft. Cisco, we are only using Cisco WebEx, then Microsoft, then Apple, and many others, they use this authenticated application, that is Kerberos. Then as authentication is critical for security of computer systems, then traditional authentication methods are not suitable for use in computer networks. So the Kerberos authentication system, it seems it is well suited for authentication of users in such distributed environments. Okay, so this is all about today. So we spoke on Kerberos and its applications. So I'll be talking in depth from the next class, that is tomorrow. We have CNS, we'll be talking about the other concepts, that is what is ticket granting session, then session 3, how authentication process actually gets established in between client and the server using other authenticated applications and all. Okay, guys, if you have any doubts for today's class, so kindly tell me. Okay, kindly put me in the group. Okay, okay guys, so I guess everyone is present today. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, excluding Safikur, everyone is present, right? Okay guys, so thank you. I guess lunch break now, so have lunch, come back at say around 1:30. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.